So they're the picture modes that you get with the device. Game mode is very bright. However, the response time is 31 milliseconds, which is up there with the best LCD TVs. So I'm more than happy with it. It's definitely got a tiny noticeable improvement over my previous Samsung TV. As far as the menus go, you can really dive in with this thing. There's a lot of stuff that you can get. I mean, I've heard of people paying just over £100 to have a professional come and set this up for them. Again, this is probably something that you'd want to have done if you're one of those people that are going to have a exclusively set up cinema room that's not going to change. If you've got it in your living room, there's chances that you might, need to move it about, things like that. I assume the average person won't bother with this, but just the level of customization on this is just brilliant. If you want more information, more in-depth information, please go ahead and check out the review of my last of the previous model, because the menu system is almost identical. You also have the split adjustment, which is really good. What it allows you to do is it puts if you're adjusting the picture to your liking, it puts the picture on the left side. You will have what it was like before your adjustment, and on the right side you have what it's like as you're adjusting, so you can compare to see if it's actually getting any better or any worse. You got picture memory, which you can set up and save. Position, you can move this around. However, do bear in mind, if you use the horizontal or vertical position, you'll actually end up losing some of the screen. So if I shift this horizontally, the top of the screen will actually start to disappear bit by bit. So that's one thing to bear in mind. Another thing as well, Keystone, Panasonic recommend that you don't touch it, and I don't blame them, because this does a perfect job. I've never seen the need to have to use Keystone, even though my projector's nowhere near, as I said previously, it's not center to the screen that you're looking at now. Just use lens shift. In terms of zoom as well, zooming and focusing, this does a terrific job doing it itself. If you wanted to adjust it, you could either do it bit by bit, or if you keep your finger on it, as you can see, it's gone really blurry. If I keep my finger on it, on adjust, it's just adjusted it perfectly. I don't think I could get it much better than that myself. You can, on my wall, which is about 12 feet away from the projector, I can get the screen down to about 60 inches, and I can blow it all the way up till it's even out of the camera lens, till it's bigger than the wall itself. So I would say probably around the 190 inches or so. And again, you can save these. I've saved the setting for this for 16:9, and for widescreen films it automatically detects 2:35.1, and you can go ahead and it automatically detects it and changes the lens size for you. Okay, let's go into some of the other settings. The only real major difference that you're going to notice here is going to be the processing message. This is really, really good, because I'll show you what happens with the message on in a minute. This option wasn't in the previous model, which means that, say you're watching Dark Knight or a film which goes from IMAX to 16:9, a film which goes from IMAX mode back to the widescreen mode, and when this happens, you have a major problem in that the word processing would flash on the screen. Now, obviously that's not very desirable, when you're trying to watch a film, having the word processing constantly flashing on the screen, especially a film like Dark Knight, which switches so often. Now you don't have that option, you don't have that problem anymore, because you can just turn the message off. This is a very useful feature, something that really did bug me about the last projector, that didn't let you do such a simple option as turning that off. Okay, let me see, final things to talk about before we actually start looking at a film. As I said, you have lens memory load, so I've got 16:9 on there. If I click it, it goes automatically 16:9. It detects it and it does it itself. I've got 2.35:1, so if this was a widescreen Blu-ray, which is filmed in the 2.35:1, this is what would happen. It's even gone out of the lens, it's even gone out of the camera view now, but because of the borders, this will zoom it in, so I'll get the same size image, because it will make the borders pretty much go away and fill up as much of the screen, which is really useful. and as I said, it's an automatic process. Only thing is, if you're watching something like Sky HD and it goes to, some adverts are filmed in 2.35 by 1, and when that happens, you do have the problem where it's constantly getting bigger, the screen is getting bigger and smaller, but again, it's not too much to complain about. And at the end of the day, the only other thing to bear in mind is it does take about 5-6 seconds for it to detect the change in image size. You can go ahead and you can save the lens memory modes on what you want. I've actually got 16:9 big and 16:9 small, so if I'm playing a game like FIFA, I put it on 16:9 big. If I'm playing a game like Call of Duty, that's way too big. I literally have to move my head around to see where people are coming from, and by that time I've already been killed. Other than that, as I said, I'm going to show you quickly now. Let me turn off the light as I show you this. Okay, this is in eco mode, and this is in normal mode. I don't know if you can notice the difference. I certainly can hear the fan kicking in a lot more. As the fan kicks in a lot more, obviously the lamp life is reduced by 1,000 hours overall, but for me the difference is so minimal that it's really not worth it. Here we go. Even with the lights on, eco mode, normal mode. As I said, for me it's not worth 1,000 hours sacrificing lamp life, let alone the extra noise, because without this on, the lamp noise is pretty much inaudible. Okay, so join me for section 2 of the review, and we'll actually be taking a look at some films, some games, and I'll be talking about some of the pluses and minuses of this projector. Okay, just before I start The Dark Knight, just something that I'd wanted to say is a lot of people ask me where I purchased my previous model from. This one I purchased actually through eBay. Someone who had like almost 100,000 feedback, trading for many years. To be very cautious though, if you purchase a US model in the UK, you're not going to be covered by the warranty. Even though Panasonic have offices in the UK, they won't cover you. So if you are in the UK and you do want to get one of these, you have to look into a warranty by a third party company, which is what I've done. And the reason that's so important is because I've only had this projector for coming up to 2 months now. I got it around release date time, and the problem that I'm having with it is every now and then I can hear the fan make a noise. I can't quite describe it. It's almost like a tiny clicking noise. It's a noise that I haven't heard any other projector make, and it only happens every now and then, which kind of got me a bit worried. But luckily I've got a 3-year warranty for it. The 3-year warranty did cost £200, but the company has a 5-day turnaround promise, and also even if I factor in that £200 on top of the price of the projector, it's still figured out about £800 less than buying a UK model in the UK, and the specifications are the exact same. So let's go ahead and load a movie. We'll put in Dark Knight Rises so I can show you the lens shift as well. Let me go ahead and turn off the light. Okay, hopefully by now you've got a good image of what it's like with the lights on, so you know it's bearable. I'll show you what it's like in the daytime in a little bit as well, while we just wait for this to load. I will say off the bat though that I definitely do notice a difference in terms of the brightness of the screen. It's you know, it's almost 20% brighter, and on top of that, you know, on top of that brightness, you've got the red rich lamp, which I was worried would make things look saturated, but it doesn't. It makes the colours look brilliant. Okay, now that the film started, as you can see, the borders have made the screen a lot smaller than it was. There we go. It's now zoomed in and it's taken up almost the entire wall. It's zoomed in automatically. It's a brilliant feature. I really like it. It saves me ever having to mess about with the settings of the projector. I'm just going to go ahead and try and find a scene here which will switch 16:9. Okay, here we go. Okay, so as you can see, it changed the screen size for me automatically, and the reason it done that is because if it was still in the full screen mode, if it was in the same mode as it was when we go to a different scene like this, Try and get something a little bit brighter. Okay, this automatically, what it should do is now detect the screen size change. It's not doing it. Well, maybe we can put this down. Oh, there we go. In the corner of the screen, it actually goes up onto the wall. Now, obviously, I don't want that when it's an IMAX scene because the image will be up on the wall. But at the moment, it's only part of the border, so it doesn't actually make a difference. The one complaint I would tell you about the image quality on this thing is that when you're watching something like football, where the scene's moving fast, it's fine when the ball is like in the air. You don't get artifacts around the ball like you can do on some LCD TVs. But the one problem that you do get is that it blurs. When the camera moves really fast, the screen is noticeably blurry. In terms of image quality, that's my only real complaint and my only disappointment with this product, is that the image actually turns blurry when the camera's moving really fast. Again, to be honest with you, I don't even really notice this when I'm watching films. I only notice it when I'm watching football or tennis and there's a fast camera pan. So it's not really noticeable all that much, but it's definitely worth mentioning. Okay, so all the curtains are drawn open. It's 2 PM during the day, and as you can see, it looks washed out, but in all fairness, it's definitely not unwatchable, and you know, it's pretty bright outside. So again, this is another part of the reason why I decided to keep it. The last one was just completely unwatchable during the day.